Hello guys, it is that Panda guy. I'm here again with another video, and today we're gonna be looking at some island raid. I will say that I have very limited footage of G2 as well as G3, as in G3 I just wasn't very excited, so I didn't really participate there. And in G2 I was asleep when most of the action actually happened. It was literally when I was sleeping, like at night or in the morning when I was still resting. So I don't have a ton of it. I will kind of explain a bit of what happened. I will be showing some stuff from G20, as I was in the beginning of Island, more near the beginning part of it. I was actually, I think it was, I forget which region it was. I think it was like maybe 240 or something, but I was helping out in one of those regions. And, I just hadn't had like a ton of time to record this stuff. And, I will say that I was kind of more free near the end of Island. So I did have more footage from something like G20. I think it was G20. So yeah, I will be trying to show some videos actually of that, as it was just where I had most of my fun at. That being said, we're looking at G2, and I will say G2 was surprisingly fast. I didn't expect most of the action to kind of end on the first day, as you had BTW and ND21 fighting against DHX pretty viciously. And ND21, their tower got popped pretty fast considerably, but you got to consider a lot of these alliances are not used to actually going on the defensive as hard as they do. So I think this could attribute to, partially why they maybe weren't able to hold towers as well as they should have been. And maybe it was just a lack of activity, or I don't know. I don't know any other reasons that there would be that they'd be unable to hold their towers, because I assume that they would have been able to hold on longer. Like, I get there was a lot of players in DHX who are, capable of swarming. And I did actually mention this in my island review, where DHX, I think, had more of a capability of lasting the field longer. And I think, like, if it came down to just, bashing heads for an hour straight, right? Like, just keep fighting on the field. I thought that BTW would probably burn out sooner, as DHX just has a lot more of players of a higher caliber of wildness, right? So I think avoiding too much field combat would have been, just recommended there, and tried to minimize how much they had to fight there. But you see kind of here, like, ND21 was just taking it on hard, and they kind of just got pushed back. You have BTW, who does end up holding for quite a while in mid, but they do end up starting to get pushed back. And I didn't get that point of the footage. They had already been pushed back by the time I woke up. I didn't expect them to just get pushed back overnight completely. Like, they had a lot of people in these towers who I thought were going to be able to hold on for, at least the night. And the thing is, you had H&T, right? And H&T was expected to kind of help in here. And I guess that H&T decided to actually go neutral, and it was a big surprise. And I guess BTW ends up actually attacking them later on, since I don't know how stuff really worked there. I guess they just felt offended maybe, or they just felt they were undervalued. I'm not really sure, but they ended up getting pushed back, and they got, a bunch of their bases burnt. And I guess that there maybe was an agreement between DHX and BTW off after this to kind of stop all the fighting, and DHX could just, secure first place, which worked pretty well for them. So that was that. And I don't really have much more to say about that. I think I'll look at G3 soon. I didn't have like a lot of G3 footage, as like I said, I was, there were just not a lot of stuff that happened in G3, at least on my end. So I ended up actually leaving the alliance, and I went to another region, which also meant that I wouldn't be able to join back in Island Raid, which, I was fine with. But I ended up doing that, and I just didn't get any of the I didn't get in any on any of the fighting, right? So we did have very minimal fighting. We had a little bit of Hot 9 there. You guys saw the report. I just didn't record a lot. Like I said, I just didn't have a lot of footage. I just didn't, okay? And this video should be kind of short, as, it was a half of like G2, G3, and then I kind of had some from the other bracket that I played in, and I will be trying to do a few videos on that, as I did actually have a pretty good time. We were fighting against Rain, who were from region 5. I think they actually migrated out already, so that's kind of unfortunate, but they put up a pretty good fight. The thing I will say about fighting Rain was Rain had like this vast advantage, I would say, over us in like the whole might skill, and they also just had more whales, right? Like, they had a lot more players who were capable of doing high caliber swarming and stuff. They had like 2 players who I think were over 180 million, and considering that they were in like, I think it was G20, you'll see it soon, but considering that they were in the bracket they were in, I was very surprised that we kind of had to be faced with them. So we kind of waited, and then we struck them when, their whales were sleeping. This actually wasn't intentional. it was kind of prime time for us. So this really worked out for us. But then you also got to consider when their whales wake up, we're kind of going to sleep, or, just in general, those whales are a lot of pressure. And considering how much we actually have in G20, like how many players we have to fill these towers, taking on rallies and taking on mini swarms isn't that hard. But when you're kind of taking on swarms from two of these players, kind of just pounding on a tower for, I don't know, let's say 10 minutes, it's just too much. We don't have enough troops. We don't have enough people in general. Like the activity levels is just much lower here. And the amount of people you can actually get online to kind of fill these towers is really rough. But in this video, you will see us more so going on the offensive. And I think that will also be the case in the next video, as we kind of struck at a really good time. And what I ended up doing was I was kind of performing tower swarms, and I kept trying to actually tap on towers that had weaker garrison captains so that I could get the better trades possible. And we connected to as many towers with minimal links as much as possible. So if we connected to 2 towers, we would only use 1 tower to do that. So we connected to like 6 towers, and we only had 3 towers connected. So we were able to play a little bit more offensive, and you will see, like, I'll keep recalling a lot when they have like a proper garrison captain actually come in. But we take advantage of this. We try to hit as many weak links as possible, try to just burn their troops out, because I will say Rain were very resilient fighters. They had a lot of people who were willing to just die in these towers. Like it was ruthless, right? But they were doing pretty well, and we were getting some really good trades because we were taking advantage of this. We would swarm for maybe a minute. Even if they did manage to hold the tower, they just weren't able to take really good trades, as in a lot of cases they might have like a 40 million player holding it as a garrison captain, and even if they reinforced, it would take them a little bit of time to actually change who was garrison captain. And if they're not able to keep the tower even completely filled off, right, like if it's, let's say, 500k troops in it, and they keep that 500k in there throughout the whole period of the swarm, instead of maybe keeping it topped off at 1.5 million, the trades are obviously going to be considerably worse, being that they're just getting a lot of skill damage pounded on them from multiple sides. So I was trying to take advantage of this and to burn out as many players as possible in as short of a time as possible. And my intention was to potentially just kind of cripple most of their alliance, which to an extent did work, but we just didn't manage to do the amount of damage that we needed to, because they still were able to freaking kick back. And I was surprised. Like, these guys were honestly resilient. They put up a really good fight. I got to give it to Rain in that situation. So GG to Rain. In any case, we ended up losing to them, sort of. They pushed us back to our village, but at the very least they didn't push up to our village. We lost our outpost. We lost ruins and stuff, unfortunately, but either way, like I said, this was a pretty good fight. We did manage to put on some good damage here. So yeah. And I mean, there isn't really much to be said in that case. You'll see just a lot of tower swarms here, and probably in the next video I will say, like, where are my socks? That dude was defending so many towers, but he got to this case where he would have like a garrison captain in 2 or 3 towers, and then he wouldn't be able to even completely top off a tower. So I could swarm his tower and he would just be struggling because it was only him doing it. People were porting around so much where I was like kind of ported in a spot where I could just walk my marches back from tower to tower to tower, and they would just have to keep wasting ports to pop around. But yeah, that is it to the video this time around. So I do appreciate you guys, honestly, for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed, as always, and I do appreciate you guys, like I said. So you guys have a good day or night, though, and I will see you guys in the next one. And that is it. Peace out.